Everyone paying attention? Good. Because I'm going to teach you some things today about how to interact with people with disabilities, how to talk to people with disabilities, how to look at them, and what you can do to be an ally to people with disabilities. I never thought about this once until I became the person with a disability. I never thought about accessibility, I never thought about curb cuts, I never thought about snow removal, never thought about automatic door buttons, never cared for elevators because I would always take the stairs because I loved running stairs. And then that all changed 10 and a half years ago after I was paralyzed by a virus that attacked my spinal cord. If it can happen to me, it can happen to literally anybody, so it's really important that we recognize that everybody is one step away from joining this club. In fact, in front of me, I see many people here wearing glasses, so if you're wearing glasses, guess what? You're part of this club. You have a disability too, and a visible one at that, right? But glasses have been normalized. People argue with me that they don't have a disability because glasses are normal. But my question is, when is my wheelchair going to be normal? Today, that's when. Because I'm going to change all of your minds about people with disabilities. The stigma is real, right? I had the stigma too before I became the person with a disability. I thought that most people with disabilities are fat, lazy, depressed, sad, on government assistance, not able to live their life. All of a sudden, they're asexual. They don't need pleasure, don't need intimacy. Nobody's going to date them. That was one of my first thoughts after being paralyzed was, who's going to date the girl in a wheelchair? Turns out a lot of people will, so don't worry about that. Because it's all about your confidence, right? Who you are as a person. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting or standing. It's who I am as a person. And after being paralyzed for 10 years, I really have seen how people interact with me. And there's a lot of different ways that people do. One is pity. People feel sorry for me. Oh, look at that girl in a wheelchair. Poor her. Her life must be so hard. And yeah, it is hard. But tell me, is your life easy? No, right? So again, we're on the same playing field there. Or they'll look at me with disgust. Ew, why are you here? Why are people with disabilities out past 6 p.m.? Why are people with disabilities out traveling? Shouldn't you be home? Where's your caregiver? There's that aspect of it. Then there's the people who will come up to me and ask me if they can pray for me. And I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual, but not religious. And I will often just say yes because I'm like, well, it's not going to hurt, right? But that's also you're violating my privacy by asking me if you can pray for me. Or I'll have the person come up to me and be like, oh my God, you're too pretty to be in a wheelchair. And it's just like, in the beginning, when I was first paralyzed, that would have destroyed me. That kind of comment would make me really upset. But my mom, being who she is, would be like, all right, you want to trade places with her? And flip it right back on that person, right? And I get that comment a lot, and I think people think that they're trying to make me feel better about my life by telling me what I look like. But my comment back is, thanks, I know how a mirror works, thank you very much. But you're actually insulting me to my face instead of complimenting me. So that's why it's really important that we have forums like this, where I get to talk to you guys about how to talk to people with disabilities, what you can do to be an ally to people with disabilities. I get asked quite often, how do I talk to somebody with a disability? My answer is always the same. How do you talk to somebody without a disability? Because it's the exact same. Hey, where are you from? What sports teams do you like? What are you doing in school? How many kids do you have? What do you do for your work? How many businesses do you have? Where do you like to travel to? What kind of car do you drive? Same questions we ask neurotypical able-bodied people, we can ask people with disabilities as well. Even if they can't answer you, still ask them. But there's a way to ask somebody and a way not to ask somebody. What you don't want to say is, hey, what's wrong with you? Because there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. Worse off, if you can say to a parent of a child with a disability, hey, what's wrong with your kid? That mom will likely kill you, so don't ever say something like that. But what you can say is, hey, I see you're using a wheelchair. Would you mind sharing your story with me? Hey, I see your child has a disability. I would really like to know more. Would you mind sharing their story with me? When you come from this point of curiosity, Just plain curiosity. I'm just curious. I just want to know more. People will often tell you too much, to be honest. Most people with disabilities are very, very open. They will tell you everything you want to know, and probably stuff that you don't want to know as well. It's just people don't get the opportunity to share. And it's because of the stigma. And oftentimes the stigma starts when we're little kids. I am a kid magnet. Kids run to me all the time. And, you know, I got 26-inch gold rims on the sides of my ass, right? So, I mean, I draw a lot of attention. And when a kid will come up to me, the common response from the parent is, "No! Don't say anything!" Whereas then I say to the parent, I would rather I tell your child the truth than you go around the corner and tell them a lie. And because mom or dad is safe space for this child, and that reaction out of the parent, that child has now associated disability with fear. That's where the stigma starts. And then it grows and grows and grows and grows. So we have to stop that. Have conversations, right? How can you be an ally to somebody with a disability? I'm going to tell you 3 really simple ways that you can be an ally. 1, make eye contact. When you see somebody with a disability, look at them. When I ask my friends with disabilities, what do you guys want? Because I have a public platform, so what do you want me to tell the public? Like, what do you want from this? 99% of them said, I want to be seen and I want to be heard. That's it. Too many times we get ignored. Too many times I've been in an area where people are staring at me, and you can tell when people are staring at you, and then they, are doing one of these, like, oh, no, I don't see you sitting over there, right? And like, hi, you look ridiculous, and my eyeballs work, my legs don't, but my eyes do. I can see you. So let's just bash some of that away, okay? And let's just be normal people. So yeah, like I said, make eye contact. If you see somebody with a disability in the mall, at school, at church, wherever you are, at a hockey game, look at them. Smile. And you don't have to go talk to them. That's all it's going to take. And for you, that's 5 seconds of your life. But for that person, that gives them hope. That gives them the will to live because they are being seen. And if you want to go talk to them, go talk to them. We're just regular people, just like you guys, right? So just talk to people. Take that barrier away. And if you have those barriers and those biases and the stigmas and the stereotypes within yourself, which we all do, ask yourself, why do I feel this way? When I see somebody with a quote-unquote severe disability, it brings up weird emotions in me. Ask yourself, why do you feel this way? What are these weird feelings? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it embarrassment? Is it curiosity? Is it pity? What is it? Label it. Ask yourself why you feel this way, and then dismantle it. We cannot remove or change anything until we are first aware. So by opening our eyes and looking inside of ourselves, doing some introspection, doing some reflection at the end of our day of how we treated people, you will become a better person, and in turn, your circles are going to become better people, and in turn, that's how we change the world. So yes, you can make eye contact, you can talk to them. 2 more really simple ways to be an ally to somebody with a disability. Do not use the accessible bathroom stall anymore. If you have used the accessible bathroom stall up until today, I forgive you. If you use it past today, I do not forgive you, and I will rip you one up and down. And I'm going to share a couple of stories as to why this is so important. Personally, I have a neurogenic bowel and a neurogenic bladder. What does that mean? Lots of things. So for me, my sphincters don't work. So I can feel when I have to pee and I can feel when I have to poop, but I can't hold it. So when I gotta go, I gotta go. Now, 10 years later, I've, retrained my body. I've reconnected to my body a lot. I get a warning. I'll get about a 10, 20-minute warning, and then I'll get to be like, oh, hey, you gotta go now. So one time, if in the first few years of my paralysis, I was in LA with my mom, and I really had to go to the bathroom. And so we saw a Walmart. So my mom pulls into the Walmart, we get out of the car, go directly to the bathroom, and there are, I kid you not, 15 empty stalls and the accessible stall at the end. So I'm motoring it through Walmart, motoring through the bathroom, and how I open doors is with my legs. I just kick it open, and it's locked. And I was like, oh, damn. So I look underneath and I see 2 feet sitting in front of the toilet. And I'm like, oh man, again. So I'm sitting there, wait both 30 seconds. I'm like, shit, like I gotta piss. So I knock on the door and I was like, excuse me, are you almost done in this stall? The lady says, no, I'm not, use another one. And I said, well, this is the only stall that I can fit into, so I need you to hurry up. And she said, well, you can come in once I'm done. So this lady continued to take a shit. And as she was, I peed my pants because I can't hold it. I can't fit in these other stalls. So now I'm mad. I'm mad. So when she comes out, I yelled at her up and down. She put her head down. She walks over to the sink to wash her hands, and where my mom is waiting, and my mom yelled at her up and down as well. And then my mom had to go buy me new underwear, new shorts, a towel to sit on, because it's not safe for your skin to be sitting in wet materials. And I had to sit in her warm shit smell, clean myself up. This has happened countless times, and not just to me, to literally every single person with a disability. So please, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell your sports teams, tell your classmates, tell everybody, please stop using the accessible bathroom stall. If it's the only one left and you really have to go, fine. But if there's another option to use a regular stall, please do. This is a huge public service announcement. Next, then the last tip I'm going to give you to be an ally to people with disabilities is don't park in accessible parking stalls. I don't care if it's for 30 seconds. I don't care if you're picking somebody up. I don't care if you're dropping somebody off. I really don't care if you're Uber Eats or DoorDash drivers. Those guys are actually the worst. The reason accessible parking stalls are there isn't for lazy people. And I mean, you know what? Some people are, and any doctor will write you a script to get you your parking pass. But for people like me, I need the extra space to get in and out of my car. Personally, I actually don't mind parking at the back of the parking lot and pushing myself to the front because I believe in exercise. I have the ability to move my body, so I'm going to harness that and take advantage of that. But I need the extra space. So many, many times, I've double parked in 2 regular stalls and come back to a mean note on my car saying, learn how to park, asshole. And it's just like, bro, you just don't know, man. So what my friends and I have started doing, because we literally have 0 patience for this anymore, is I'm going to block you in. And it's so fun. It's so fun messing around with able-bodied people. As somebody with a disability, I'll tell you a quick story. My friend Brian used to live in a condo building. His parking stall was underground in the accessible stall. So one day he comes home and there is a delivery truck or somebody's truck in his spot. And there is a concrete wall in front of his spot. And he was driving a minivan at that time, so he parked his minivan right behind that truck, got out of his van, and started going inside. As he was going inside, that's when the driver of the truck came out and was like, oh my God, sorry dude, like I was only here for like a minute. And he was like, well, that's okay, I'm going in for the night, see you later. And the guy had to call a tow truck. First of all, he got a $500 parking ticket for parking there. Then he had to call a tow truck to move Brian's van and to put it back into the spot. And that's what we started doing to everybody that we find parked in our parking stalls. Because this is how we actually prove a point. People actually don't care. The general public really just doesn't care about people with disabilities because of the stigma, because they think that it's never going to happen to them, because they think they're better than us. This is just general human nature. But we can change that. We don't have to be like that. Society doesn't have to be like that. And that changes with each and every single one of you. By each and every single one of you making these changes, your friends are going to start to notice that. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your family members, especially for those of us who are from cultures where there's stigmas towards people with disabilities. I'm East Indian. The blonde hair might fool people, but I'm East Indian. And in my culture, it is shameful and embarrassing for you to have a disability. I never see people with disabilities at weddings, at funerals, at parties. Never. Not at church, nowhere. Why? Because of the stigma. So after this happened to me, I was like, well, what the hell? This isn't my fault. What am I doing? Why am I now all of a sudden I'm shameful? All of a sudden I'm an embarrassment? Because why? Because I use a cool-ass wheelchair? We have to change the stigma, you guys. We have to. And until everybody puts conscious effort into doing so, it's not going to happen. So I really appreciate having the time to have talked to you guys and talk to anybody who's really listening about this, because this is how we change the world, one mind at a time. And I'm really lucky that I'm going to have a very large platform, because in 2 weeks' time, I have a brand new TV show coming out on CBC. It's called Push. It's a docuseries about my life and the lives of my wheelchair homies here in Edmonton. It'll be 9 episodes long. It's on CBC and CBC Gem every Friday at 6:30 p.m. our time. Please watch it. Please learn from it. Please share it. And hopefully everybody can grow from it. Thank you for your time.